In this section, we talk about the project planning. We have like a strategic planning, right? Tactic planning, operational planning. This strategy defined, developed, formulated, right? Tactic developed. We need a project to realize it, realize the strategy, to realize this tactic. So no matter what level planning, we will end up with this project planning. By introducing you this project planning techniques, actually, I wanted to give you an overview about what is project management. And then we focus on some of this project planning, because according to the PMI, so I am a PMP, the project management professional. This is the certificate is from this PMI, the Project Management Institute. So to be a good middle manager, all right, not to talk about the first line manager, to be a good middle manager, I highly recommend you to get a project management certificate. Being a good project manager, you will be a good manager for sure. Project management is a little bit more challenging. Project is, the definition is about any temporary endeavor, right? Undertaken to create unique product or service or result. What is project? Other than daily routine, they are all project. It can be in your workplace, it's in your life, right? So in your study, all those temporary actions. In my opinion, that the project, once we understand the project, okay, you will realize, actually, we are living with a lot of projects. In the workplace, your line manager, your boss, they feel you have the potential. How they assess that, right? How to measure that, they will assign you the project. All right, daily routine, actually, because we repeat, right? Comparatively easy. Planning is to show you our managerial competency. After planning, right? Implementation, right? So project, including project planning, including project implementation, finishing the planning, we needed to implement. So we are introducing some, we call it the technical skill. For a manager, what we need? We needed a technical skill, right? We needed the interpersonal skill, right? We needed a conceptual skill. So for project management, I leave this conceptual skill aside, but we would focus more on the technical skill plus interpersonal skill. Sometimes I call this a hard skill and soft skill. Having this project management way of thinking, or this project management mindset. All right, you can treat many things as the project, and then use your project management skill to handle that. Projects are challenging. You must have this project management skill. Project management skill is technical skill plus interpersonal skill. PMI, they define this project management into 4 phases: initialization, design, realization, and closing. I don't have time to read all this, but let me just quickly tell you, those 2 together, this is the planning phase. These 2 together, this is the controlling phase. Regarding the planning, we will have this different phase, right? And then we will need the planning, right? The scheduling, right? All together. If this is the strategy, we call it strategy formulation, right? If this is the tactical, we call it the tactical development, or action plan. For operation, this is the action plan. Planning here, plan, and then this is the control. The control phase, including the implementation or realization, right? Monitoring, right? Adjustment. Actually, we already introduced some basic managerial planning process, right? But we are mainly talk about here. This is the design, or you can simply call this like a scheduling, right? The scheduling phase. But what I want you to understand is we have this initialization, we have this design put together. This is the planning phase. And then we have the realization and then monitoring phase. I mean, for sure, for project, we have also the closing phase, but this is the controlling. Regarding this technical skill, interpersonal skill, right? Or we call this the soft skill. As you can see, communication is interpersonal. motivation, decision-making, right? Influence, conflicts management, right? Those are all the interpersonal, in my opinion, interpersonal skills, right? In Module 6, we will talk about a little bit more regarding this leadership. Project management, this is a balancing game. Not only we needed the technical tools, right? The technical tools, planning, right? Controlling, those are like scheduling, those are the technical tools. But we also needed this interpersonal skill, right? Just name two, very important, communication and the motivation. Communication, have many, let's say that the stakeholders, you have many colleagues to communicate to. You need their support, you need their resource. Also, you need to report your progress, right? Ask for further support, something like that. Motivation is for your project team. So your team members, they are temporarily assigned to your project. How you can motivate them and then let them contribute to your project. See, formally, they belong to their department, their function, but they temporarily assigned or allocated to your task force. And then if they are not motivated, they have no contribution, and then your project will have no progress. This is why I always say like a project management is more challenging than the regular management. And then you have so many decisions, right? You also needed to solve the conflicts, right? You also needed to settle all this, let's say that the resource issues. Again, that this is a balancing game, all right? We needed the left brain, okay, for some technical things, technical thinking. We needed the right brain for some creativity, right? Also interpersonal stuff. As a manager, you better to be a good project manager. And then on the other side, if you become a good project manager, you will be promoted very soon. Okay, trust me. I have a very important method, all right, to show you. It's called the mind mapping. Mind mapping is an easy way. It's an easy way to brainstorm thoughts, idea, right? Organize it, in a visual structure. You put your ideas all together. For example, if you have a project, a delivery service from the store, right? And then you will start to brainstorm the activity to do, right? Mind map is visually organized information. But again, so this is not a list. This is a map. This is a picture. For example, I just make the delivery. We need to define the facility, right? So what belongs to that task or belong to that activity. We needed the assortment really, what assortment we can deliver, what we cannot, right? So this is another set of activity. And then we needed the team, right? So, new team or existing team. And then we needed the what? The delivery, right? The truck. So this is another activity. And then we needed the online ordering system, how we collected the order. We use the e-commerce channel or we create our own app. Also talk about the stock management, right? There are many things. Or let's say that the sales team, the marketing campaign. If we don't have that, how you start your business, you just say, hey, I have my, let's say, delivery service. Automatically, everything's ready. No, that's not true, right? As the project manager, we start with this mind mapping. This is belong to the first, right? Initialization. So it's not an easy thing, right, guys? But we start from the scratch. We needed this mind mapping. We needed to use this, collect the information, and then define all the activity in a visual structure. Mind mapping is a brainstorming method, right? And then we have this visual structure. Mind mapping is created the picture for our project, okay? And then we go to our next step, which is the scheduling. A simple structure is like the topic of the project. And then we will have the idea or activities, right? The sub-idea or sub-activities, you can call these tasks. You need the mind map, but it doesn't matter which one, right? So you can grab a big piece of paper, start to draw, all right? Or simply for a small project, you can use this Post-it, right? And then the stickers. And then you're trying to stick this around each of the stick, you define one idea or you define one activity. We have the mind map, right? It is a visual structure. It's a brainstorming. And then we need, the next step is we needed to translate it to the work breakdown structure before the scheduling. Mind mapping, work breakdown structure, this is very important, very necessary steps to help come up with this action plan or come up with the schedule. For example, a birthday party, you have the brainstorm, you have the stuff, mind map, right? And then you started to create or develop this work breakdown structure. You see, this is a little bit organized, right? Comparatively organized. I have assignment for you to define a small project and then try to use this work breakdown structure. So this is your project, for example, a birthday party, okay? And then you have the activity. You need to define the location, right? And then this activity, you have more sub-activity, or I call this tasks. You need to define the party tent, right? The dancing floor, the location, and then more about the facility, thinking about the prom, food, drinks, right? Catering, this is the activity. And then you will have more sub-activities or tasks, sub-tasks. What entertainment, what, let's say, shoes, right? Including music, band, magicians, singers, right? So those are like all the I call this sub-activity or the tasks. So invite the participants. Who will be your participants, right? And then how you invite them, your friends, your family, right? It is a bigger group or it is a small group. This is all interlinked. Your number of participants will somehow affect the location, the size, right? And then it will also affect the catering, right? How many foods you prepare, okay? And then don't forget, there are other things. I can list this, it can be a long structure, but thinking about that. So let's plan how we can find a job, okay? How we can find a job. We need to break it down, right? So someone said, hey, I need to have my CV. My resume ready, right? I needed to check my network, internal reference. I needed to prepare the STAR question, STAR. Remember the STAR question? I needed to send out my resume. I needed to plan my trip, something like that. What I try to tell you is in the project, you initialize your project. You need to design, right? This is the design, or here we call plan. I recommend you start with the mind map. The second is this work breakdown structure. Before you start the schedule, in the textbook, they directly jump to this, some schedule tools, the planning tools, the Gantt chart, right? The PERT chart. This is all the schedule. So for me, there are steps. So before doing that, so I don't go, explain too much regarding this Gantt chart and then this PERT. I show you the like a two pictures, immediately you know that. So the Gantt chart, actually, here we call this like a bar chart. People focus on this time. The first day, second day, what I needed to finish. But they forget the most important thing is, what is the task? Your activity. You group your task into activity 1, activity 2, activity 3, and then those are the tasks. You cannot directly skip it to this task plan or the schedule. My recommendation is we have the mind map. We draw a complete mind map, and then we translate it into the work breakdown structure. From the work breakdown structure, you can fill in this task, and then you can start to schedule, right? Put the time plan, put the timelines there. Actually, it's similar to the PERT chart. The PERT chart is activity. Like this is A4, that means A activities, activity A, it takes like 4 days, right? And then they will achieve the second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, those are like the milestone. Or here they call it the event, but I like to call this a milestone. For example, a action, right? How long takes 4 days, right? So from 2 to 5, it is the D, plan D, all right? And that takes 5 days. It defines the activity. It defines the time. And then it's also defined the milestones, okay? So again, you need the work breakdown structure to define all this. So don't directly jump into this. So if you start with this, you never have a good plan. Okay, you will definitely miss many steps, many activities, many tasks. Project management. So this is a big, very huge topic. Okay, so I don't have that time to introduce you everything, but I want you to get started again. So this is the planning tools, or we call it project planning tool. This let's say the initializing phase, and the focus on this designing phase. So we haven't touched this realization or the implementation phase, right? So we leave it to the next module.